Ahoy! Today I wanted to do something quick and serious, and I discovered something very funny, and I'd like to share that with you. So I wanted to talk about the reworked Ice Gauntlets that used to have illegal perks, and perks that didn't function because they were exclusively melee perks. And I figured, okay, this is an easy thing to look at. We can quickly do this because I'm still working on the armor video that's not going to get out. This is just something to fill the time to see if the new Ice Gauntlets that we're getting are any good. And some of them are, but we had a bit of an unexpected outcome. So let's just look at the normal ones first, and then we'll get to it. We're going to look at all of these on New World Database, starting with Frozen Hope. So Frozen Hope has full int, unending Thaw, Transient Crits, and Mortal Power. Transient Crit on Ice Gauntlets doesn't work because they don't even have fully charged heavy attacks, so that one got reworked. Instead, Frozen Hope now has Vicious, and that honestly makes it pretty nice if you are after an Unending Thaw Ice Gauntlet. I know that's not for everyone, but if you want the extra damage on the Storm, there's a slight increase there, then you have Vicious now, which is good on the Ice Gauntlet, and you have Mortal Power on top of that, which is not the best perk, I would say, but I think in an AoE situation, this can be something useful still. You might just get something out of it. So I think Frozen Hope is at least a decent starter option for a fresh level 60 now. It's also fairly easy farmable from Ophorios the Joyful, in an area with a bunch of named mobs with name drops, so could be worth farming if that's what you're after. Next there's Psychopomp's Mart, which is also full int, with Healing Tomb is its main perk, and then it had Transient Recovery, which didn't work, and Keen. This is now Healing Tomb, Lifestealing, and Keen, which makes sense because Lifestealing is essentially the base version of Transient Recovery, the one that works on ranged weapons as well. It's not exactly the best Ice Gauntlet out there in my opinion, but if you're after a very sustained focused option, then this could be a nice baseline. This one drops some Sabnek in this little Oasis in Brimstone. Dead Claws used to have full int, Transient Rend, Enchanted, and Ruinous. It now has Plagued Crits, Enchanted, and Ruinous. I'm not really seeing any value in this perk combination. I don't think this is particularly good. Gravekeeper's Glove was just a blue Ice Gauntlet, goes from Rogue to Mortal Fortification. And similarly, Conservation of Heat goes from Mortal Siphoning and Rogue to Mortal Siphoning and Enchanted. But now it's time for what made me really want to make this video. Cold Stone. Cold Stone, Constitution and Int, with a skew towards Int, Mortal Lifesteal, Sturdy, and Lifestealing. I actually wanted to farm this Ice Gauntlet because I wanted to do some tests with it, with the blocking stability compared to a shield. Little did I know that Sturdy on Ice Gauntlet doesn't actually work at all. But, well, now we know because they're changing it. But what they're changing it to is just brilliant. Cold Stone now has Mortal Lifesteal, thwarting counter, and Lifestealing. And now you may be thinking, okay, what's so funny about that? Let's have a look at thwarting counter. We'll take a closer look at the compatible with listing here and see which item is not on there. Any ranged weapon, including the Ice Gauntlet. This is a melee only perk. So in their rework for weapons, Ice Gauntlet specifically with melee only perks, they switched from a melee only perk to a melee only perk. Funny enough, I actually don't know if this perk would work though. I don't see why it wouldn't, because your target can have grit, and in that case it could actually be a pretty decent effect to have, like an Ice Storm on a group of enemies that are fighting each other in a clump and gritting all of that. Could actually technically be good, probably worse after this patch. Anyways, I imagine they're not going to leave it in like that. I imagine they're going to give it another overhaul after this, but I thought it was a funny discovery. I would actually try and farm this item on the PTR, but I know that it's a very tedious farm because the legendary name drops in that area are very hard to come by since they're not from specific mobs. So I'm not going to do that, so I'm not going to find out if it actually works, and I don't think that after PTR I'll still have the same perk, but I wanted to share it with you. And tomorrow I'll hopefully be able to share more information about the armor and fortify values with you, just working out the last few kinks there. If you'd like to see that, consider subscribing and clicking the bell. I'm currently doing a lot of trading tips on my Patreon if you're interested in tips for the upcoming patch and want to make some extra gold. Thanks to my patrons for supporting this video, and thank you for watching. Sloth out.